So it's that time of year again. And a thought came to my mind just a few minutes ago. I was thinking about Miracle on 34th Street. I've seen the colorized version, I've seen the black and white version. I think I've seen the extended version. But just over the years, saw it as a kid for the first time in elementary school for a one of those special fun days that the teacher decided to have for the classroom where we'd wheel in the cart with the TV on top, VCR, and set it up, and we got to experience the original black and white version first time. But the other one, It's a Wonderful Life, I didn't get to see until later on with my family, or it was on TV or something. I think it was on TV. But in any case, coming back to Miracle on 34th Street, I realize it's not about what most people think, and maybe early on I should do some more research on it, but I believe early on they probably had set it up to where the storyline itself, if you watch it carefully, if you look at it, you're looking at this story about Santa being, being the priority, the focus of the movie. And yeah, I mean, in a sense, it's got these other characters on the sides where they're helping him out. So it's kind of like a primary characters set up, however they do movie setups, whatnot. But I realized something, and some people might have realized it too, that it wasn't so much about Santa Claus being in town. It was, if I understood it correctly, what if Santa Claus was in the modern world? I forgot also about the newer Miracle on 34th Street with the actor from Jurassic Park who played the part of Santa. But I believe that it's how would modern society treat Santa if he was around us? And it primarily showed faith as the focus throughout the movie. And it pretty much, you can pick up on that really clearly. It's like, do you have faith in Santa? Do you not have faith in Santa? Some people, just a good movie, and other people don't care because either they've never seen it, they don't want to see it, whatever the reason. But I believe it was modern society and how we treat faith. What if the character of your faith, the person of your faith, what if they were in society today a public character that you saw? Would you believe that they are who they say they are? And whatever faith you have, whatever your belief, whatever, would you believe it? Could you believe that somebody that was known for something very specific had always been believed to be mythological? I know a lot of people out there are thinking, well, I always wished or hoped that somebody could be like that. I get a chance to see what they're like and I'd be all excited. But I ask again, would you believe that that character was real? Now, if it was a fictional character, comic book, some sort of animal or creature, something like that, and it was alive and real, you'd probably have trouble believing it was real, but at the same time, it's your character that you've known for a really long time. I mean, simplify it. Let's imagine Pikachu is in real life. Well, then you would obviously see that you knew it was Pikachu. But a lot of people that believe it don't believe it's Pikachu. Maybe somebody created it in a lab somewhere. Maybe it's a machine. Maybe it's, just an animal that all of a sudden came into existence. Who knows? We're always focused on the speculation of where did it come from. rather than if it is or if it isn't. And I think that's the big question in reality, in society. We want to believe in things, but I believe faith has to match the belief. We truly want something to be, but we have to have faith that it can exist. And I think that's the mindset between people who succeed in life and people who never get anywhere. In more recent times, I've been having major breakdowns and struggles with my own mental issues, with my depression, my anxiety. They've been bearing down on me hard. But I have to remind myself about putting as much effort into the faith of something as well as the skill, because what is the hardest part of doing one basic thing? Exercise. You can't just go out there and decide you're going to start working out and you're just going to get in shape with not just the work behind it, but with the continuous faith. You'll get there. See, a lot of us want to have faith in something, hope, belief, prayer. But you have to maintain that you're going to see it happen. See, we can't create miracles because it's a miracle that we are here. Us existing is just a miracle, period. You know, sure, our parents gave birth to us. But where did it all start? We can believe all things, we can believe nothing, we can believe some things. But origins are origins. Starting points are starting points. And it goes way too far back to even think about all that. So let's just assume that there was an origin point where people spread out from. But I don't think it was one point. I think there was multiple points. But that's a different discussion for another day. But for this, to work out, to have faith in something, you have to maintain that thought over and over and over again. And if you don't stick with what it is you want up here, this is going to mean nothing. And if you just try to do this and focus on this isn't going to keep up. It's not going to want to. We learn to have faith in ourselves at one point in our lives. Whether we thought much of ourselves or not, we had faith that we could get it done through experience, through backup, through support of any kind, and even through fear, being threatened to do things. But we got things done. For example, walking. I know there are people out there that can't walk, that childhood something happened and, or they were born with something, kept them from being able to walk. I acknowledge that. But I'm talking about just the basic, everyday, normal physical person. We had to learn to walk. We've had to have faith, because we don't think about it, that we can just walk because we do that. We hate doing it a lot of times. Adults want a nap like kindergartners get to. But we had faith that it would take us someplace. Your mind got so adapted to it that it was comfortable with knowing that. Now, whether you believe that Santa Claus is real or not doesn't make any difference. Your faith is your faith. But how much faith are we putting into the things that we need to? How far do you want to go in life? My situation sucks right now. I'm only going to be able to show you the same thing every day until my situation changes. More than anything, I think this was my reminder to myself that I still have to keep my faith to keep going. The world is as harsh or harsher than anyone thinks. To understand how harsh it is the best way to learn how to deal with it. It's the best way to learn how to get through it, and it's the best way to learn that you are who you are, but you can also learn who you have yet to see, who you are yet to be. If you keep going with one thing, that in itself shows where your faith is at. But you have to be willing to keep going. You can remind yourself, you can use little tactics, whatever it is. But just remember, keep it practical. Keep it something that's simply logical. You want this. You want to see the results on yourself. If you're unhappy being skinny and small, learn how to bulk up. If you're unhappy with being heavy set, learn how to lose weight. If you're unhappy with not knowing something, learn it. But more than learn it, adapt it. Take it to where you've never taken it before. Give yourself the time. You have to make time. And I don't mean you get to put an hour on the clock and magically, and that is, nobody's going to bother you. Tell people what you're trying to do. No matter the comment, you're doing it so you can do this thing for yourself. You're telling them so that you give yourself the opportunity. While you might have things that take up a lot of your time, what things are you hating doing, and what things do you love doing? At no point is anybody going to give you the time. You're going to go out there, if you don't have a job when you want one, you're going to make one happen. That's just a given. And for some people, it's a really hard struggle to find time when you don't have any given because you've got kids or you've got too many hours. I get it. For some of us, it's transportation or just not having any help and you're too far from anything. So in those moments where you can't make something happen, you have time. Never pass up on an opportunity, sure, but use the time. And when you're tired, especially, I know it's hard. Maybe you haven't had sleep in a few days. Go rest. But getting up from that rest, from the few days you haven't had sleep, or you had a long night and you didn't get hardly any sleep, while it is easier said than done, you have to have faith that what you want to see will play out. But it's not going to happen in any time frame you want it to. So don't tell yourself something that's going to take a long time and you got it set by this date over here. Think of the reality. That's why people who want the truth have to do the work, have to research, have to put in the time, have to understand how much time it takes to research. If you can understand that as a basic learning tool, how much time will it take to research? How much time will it take to do and put together? How much time will it take you to get the money? If you're working on all three, work on all three together. Give yourself time to do all of them. Time to make the money. Time to put the things together. Time to research. You can research over the time it takes you to get the money. You can put things together while you research, while you make the money. For some of us, it's acquiring that income in the first place, getting a job, getting income, doing something, anything, everything. If you're like me, you might have shyness issues, embarrassment. A lot of people that I've met and come across, they wouldn't agree. I'm not shy on anything. It's because I put as much mental strain in just trying not to be embarrassed by things, by having a it is what it is attitude. But I've always had a shyness. I've always had an approach issue. I've found ways to get past it, but I can't maintain it 24/7. I don't look at it like a facade or a mask. I look at it as I don't have any choice but to force myself into an uncomfortable situation just to be able to not be uncomfortable being there. Whether I want something on top of that or not is a totally different story. That's even harder. But sometimes I have to go for straightforward. I have to just ask. It's difficult every single time. For the Wolverine fans out there, it's the same question as, does it hurt? Every single time. But I don't have a choice. And I've had a lot of setbacks. I've had so many that I've wanted to give up almost every single time. And so sometimes I'll spend days where I have to deal with it. My faith doesn't go away. It gets blocked off by my emotions. So I say to you, where's your faith? What faith do you have in yourself? If I'm out here on the street, in a van, if I struggle with my belief system, my faith, if I struggle with having the courage to go and do things, to get up off of my butt, to get on my feet. Yeah, I'm making a video right now. When was the last time that you saw me on here? Whenever I posted the last video. That's why I don't do them on a regular basis. I'm not monetized. I'm not doing this for money. Do I need money? Everybody needs money. That's a trick question. Do I need to make an income? Again, trick question. Everybody needs one. Now, I do have supplemental. I do have VA. And it gives me quite a bit, but it doesn't give me enough to live. I have to live by the rules that some people, somebody else, others made up. And then we all agreed to it. We have to agree to it after the fact. Most of us, if not all of us. But in those rules, they state that we have to have a certain amount just to live. Just to be able to be happy. Just so we don't get in trouble for just existing. Because being homeless is basically a crime. Not just based on observation. The law doesn't like loitering on property you do not own, possess, or are not a tenant of. And if the street is public property, that means the city owns it. Or the county. So you can't be there, and that's dangerous anyways. Sidewalk, you don't own it. No gas station, library, grocery store, retailer, apartment complex, anything that you are not paying for, will you get in trouble for trespass. You might get lucky, like in my situation, where I get to stay close to a house. And they know that I'm here. They've known for the 2.5 years that I've been here. But it doesn't mean that nothing will happen. So I have to have faith every single day that I can make something happen when I haven't been able to do it. I've had some help here and there, but I'd say about 96% of it, it's on me. And as much as I've been struggling and fighting myself, I'm still trying. It just takes me longer. Growing up, I had an issue of memory, being able to remember what somebody told me, having to have things repeated over and over again. I had to have faith that I could try and accomplish something, but it was so overwhelming that I was just fortunate enough and felt myself lucky enough to be able to go sit down and watch cartoons when I was a kid. It helped me not to feel so stressed and overwhelmed that I was going to be asked to do something where, sure enough, I was going to get in trouble just for making a mistake or forgetting. And it played out like that. Was that every scenario? No. I'm realistic. But the majority time that I did do things that involved other people, I was always going to screw up. I was always going to make mistakes. And I was always going to get punished. Just period. Not in an abusive way. I was what would be considered the grounding king. I was grounded for forgetting to take out the garbage. I was grounded for forgetting to pick up the dog poop in the backyard. Now, mind you, nobody else is doing this stuff. It was my job. When my sisters got a little bit older, we split the chores, so I was lucky. But it always fell back on my shoulders because they were busy. They had things to do. The fact is, my faith has been tested up and down my entire life because I struggled to be the same as other people. You can dress the same, you can act the same, you can seem the same, but if you're not the same, you're not the same. If you're not going to be able to fit in, you're not going to be able to fit in. A lot of people thought I was unique, sure. A lot of people said I'm smart. But I've been called stupid too. By people who didn't know me. And some people who knew me, we were friends for a long time. You do stupid stuff around your friends. But my faith, coming back to originally, my faith in what I need to do is going to be no more of a struggle than yours is. Nobody's going to make me do anything, and nobody's going to make something happen for me. Whether I make something happen of myself or not, I don't know of anybody who can see the future. People keep liking to think that they can see the future, but I don't know of anybody who's actually ever seen the future. And if I fail, then I fail. If I had help, that would be great. If I could have an income, that'd be awesome. I don't want to make money off of other people just because they gave it to me. But if I had to take it, I would take it. No, I want to be able to work and do things. I've just had things that have hindered me more recently. I'm waiting for doctor, hospital. I had surgery once before for the same thing. Circumstances didn't allow for me to heal properly, so this is kind of corrective surgery, kind of starting again, getting a brand new surgery. But I have to keep my faith going. I have children depending on me that I haven't been able to see. And for whatever reason, people like to make up about me because none of the information is factual. But it has been easy to use what the rumors are against other people. Again, won't say. But I got to keep my faith that I'll be able to get out of my situation. Almost every day looks like I won't. But I can't stop. I got to keep going. So like I said before, this is more of a video for me, but I hope it helps other people out there. I hope that somebody gets something out of this, if not many things out of this. And if you stuck with me the whole time through this video, I greatly appreciate it. If you like it, you didn't like it, thumbs up or down. Subscribe if you can. And I'll talk at you next time. This was today's food for thought. I'll catch you later.